Yeah, so that's okay. Thanks enough for that quick hello. So we are good to go. I think ideally today's session is a masterclass on data science and analytics. We just want to look at what data science is, what data analysis is, what career paths are there, how relevant is this particular line of skill set relevant to the industry and the society. How are you able to locate opportunities here and there? Such kind of discussions. Then, of course, we're also going to have a very technical, a technical bit of it, especially we're going to look at SQL, structured query language today, where you'd be able to see what SQL is, what it does, how we can use it to manipulate data, how we can use it to work around data science and data analysis, the various subjects around data science or data analysis. That is what Enoch is going to be taking us through. So maybe before we jump into that, I'll just do a quick introduction of what or who Data Build Africa is. Then at least you have an overview of what we do and where we are and the kind of solutions we have in the market and so on. So we are a tech company offering two groups of services. The first group of service is those offered to individuals in the form of courses and programs such as what we are about to have here tonight. And then the second group of programs or solution is those that we offer to corporate entities, where organizations also enjoy some of our services as a corporate it's a corporate entity. So what that means is we have solutions. Maybe I'll just go quick to my slides. We have solutions which are designed for the corporate organizations. Things such as business process optimization, where we come in to examine the environment and we're able to streamline your processes and so on. So that means we are going to come up with procedures and ways through which we are able to streamline the processes so that things are smoother. We also offer consultancy services on data and tech. That means it's a myriad of services in there where we're able to assist other organizations with their particular needs based on their challenges in there. And of course, as I said, on the other end, we have those courses that we offer. If you can see my screen, we have courses such as data science, data analytics, which we are going to cover here tonight. We have AI and machine learning. We have data engineering. We have cloud computing stuff. We have cybersecurity. We have inventory management, and even specified software trainings to corporate entities and other organizations. So we are quite broad in terms of what we offer and in terms of the solutions we have. We're also quite broad in terms of experience with both private and public sectors. And that is where ideally we get our opportunities. That is how Data Build Africa positions itself in the market to be able to offer solutions and to be able to create opportunities for graduates, for professionals, skilled men and women. So as you can see, these are just this is just a quick look at some statistics and trends, which I may not go into details for the sake of time. But ideally, what this says is that we have a growing need for tech and data professionals, be it data analysts, be it data scientists, be it cybersecurity professionals, be it data engineers. All these groups, we have opportunities coming up for them. Industries and organizations are realizing that they have huge sets of data. They have databases here and there where they're not, which they're not really making use of. So they're starting to ask themselves the questions like, how can we make use of the data we have? How can we make use of the skill sets that exist in the market? How can we use them to better position ourselves and grow our organizations? So that is why we are having a spike in the number of organizations looking out for data professionals, those that I've mentioned, and so on and so forth. So you can see that the statistics project to increase in demand, which has been there for the past couple of years. The demand is still spiking up, it's still getting high. That means we need professionals to be able to fill up those particular positions, or those gaps that exist in the market. What that calls for is for people to be trained, people to be skilled, and for people to be able to perform the particular duties aligned with those roles. these are some of the gaps existing within the current curriculums in the sectors. Then these are some of the benefits you would ideally get from our programs. I'll not go into details. We'll come back to it later on. Then these are just some of the software stack for some of our programs. Then these are some of the areas, if you can still see my screen, these are some of the areas or some of the industries where our graduates typically work. We have people working in the fintech, we have people working in the BFSI sector, that is the banks, the insurances, the circles, and so on. We have people working in government agencies, the parastatals or mainstream government, performing various roles here and there. There are people working in healthcare institutions, there are those in education and higher learning, there are those in transport and logistics, and so on. So that is just a highlight of some of them. Our impact ideally as a company is we have created job opportunities, going by the solutions we offer to the corporate organizations. Then aside from that, we've also created internship opportunities also, either through us directly or through our partners, right? That of course, graduates who study with us or learn with us or get trained by our trainers also have high chances of having their salaries increased wherever they work, or they have high chances of increasing their value at their workplaces. Then of course, being with us means you have a community of people to learn with, to learn from, and to cooperate with to ensure that you move to the next level of your career and the next level of your learning. Yeah, so these are just some of the programs. I'll get back to this after Enoch has taken us through the session, the SQL session. But these are some of the courses we have, and these are some of the prices, as you can see, both compressed and both individual items. So I'll not go into details of that. We'll get back to it later on. Yeah, and at this time now, unless if somebody has a question there before I hand it over. I was quite quick because of time, but if somebody has a question, I'm happy to respond. Okay, I assume you're good. So allow me now to welcome Enoch, who is going to now give us an overview of what data science is, data analysis, the areas, the opportunities that are there, all these subjects as you saw in the message you got from us. And now I want to welcome Enoch. Enoch, if you're there, if you can hear me, please pick it up.
Oh yes, good evening again and good Friday to everyone of you. So as I said, my name is Enoch Baraka and I'm honored to be the session leader in this case. Oh, I'm a data scientist by profession, currently pursuing my master's in data science at the University of Nairobi. And this presents a very nice opportunity to take you guys through what is happening on the globe with the concern to data science. So kindly confirm if you can see my screen.
Yeah, I'm able to see. I hope the rest can see as well.
Please let me know if I'm lagging. It is raining on my side, in our area. So let me know if I'm lagging. Otherwise, now let's proceed. So, as Lavik said, there is high need of data professionals as there is high growing in the field of data science. So what that implies means that we also need individuals who will be able to interact with the data and then provide companies with insights, or those who will venture into research and then will be able to come up with policies that are aimed at our solving the SDGs. Remember, we have 17 SDGs that every tech company is trying to find solution to either one of them. So in this case, I'm going to take you through data science, what it entails. So in the first thing, data science, as I said, is a multifaceted field that incorporates various disciplines to extract actionable insights from large volumes of data. So this implies that data science as a field, it is not comprised of one discipline. So it will have to combine different disciplines, in this case, computer science, statistics, also some part of MLE or economics, predictive analysis, and then interpreting your insights. So for this case, I want to draw the differences between data science and analytics as it was indicated on our poster. So this is the first definition of the data science. Now allow me to go to data analytics. So data analytics is a subset of data science. So think of it in this way. Data science, to be able to stand, it has foundational layers. In this case, the data analytics will have to form the base of the data science. Now, in this case, data analytics involves examining and use of statistical analysis on the existing data sets to create, capture, process, and extract insights from that data, and then provide actionable insights to the concerned parties. So I hope I'm able to differentiate between data science and data analytics. So if you have a question, please be able to, you can open up your mic and see if you need any clarification. We're moving very fast, but we'll need to have all questions answered as we move. So what are the careers that are encompassed in the data field? So as a data professional, you can either choose of the following path. You can go with you can be a data analyst, or you can decide to be a data scientist, or maybe a machine learning engineer. You can also decide to be a data engineer. You can specialize in business intelligence and become a business intelligence analyst. Or you can specialize in doing research with respect or with regard to AI. So as I move forward, so what are the opportunities that are there for us? For example, in the finance, there are a lot of roles that comes with the data. For example, I'll give you an example in finance, like maybe a bank. So a bank has various roles that it plays in the market. And for those roles to be effective, it has to utilize the data. As nowadays, as they say, let the data do the talking. So for example, if you're in a bank and you're doing consumer analysis, you are trying to check what is the behavior of our customers. Are our customers banking with us only? Or according to a particular quarter, we can see that the customers that did transactions with that reduced. So for the company to be able to make informed decisions, they will have to use the data. In this case, they will require a data analyst or a data scientist to provide them with actionable insights that will get them to make informed decisions. Again, you can also venture in healthcare or health sector. So in health sector, there is a lot that is going on and that is revolving around data. You can specialize in patient analysis or building predictive models that are going to improve diagnosis of diseases. For example, at the moment, if you've been following the research firms, one of them is HRC. It's doing a project called WEMA, and this project is centered on analyzing the effect of extreme weather conditions on mental disorders. So what does that mean? For the company, this research company or the research institute, to be able to make informed policies, it has to employ data. It has to employ the use of data. In this case, you as a data professional, you will be required to analyze the data and provide the institutions with actionable insights that will guide them to make involved decisions. Others can venture in agriculture. You can decide to work on, like, for example, there is also another research is going on to reduce post-harvest losses. So for those who have been following, there is like last month, there was a scholarship for PhD guys that are concerned with agriculture. So in this case, they want to come up with models that are going to be addressing the climate change and food supply in particular. So that also needs your input as a data professional. So again, you can also venture in businesses like retail, also, or specialize to be a data analyst or strategist in government and NGOs. So what I can say is that data as a field has so many opportunities for us. And for us to be able to grab those opportunities, we need to have right skills that are relevant to the market. Allow me to proceed to the next slides. Now, having known that there are so many opportunities out there, so what will make you grab those opportunities? The first thing, you need to have the right technical skills, because data requires individuals or data professionals to be proficient in their technical abilities. So what are some of the tools or softwares you as a data professional are required to learn? So in programming languages, which are key in analysis and building models, we have Python. We also have, so Python is used mostly in production. So when you build your models, so for me as the end user, to be able to interact with your model, you have to deploy it. So Python is like it's a general language that is used in building the models and also deploying them. R as a software is also now at the moment R does not have so many libraries that support production of models, but more libraries are being provided by the statistical team under R. And for individuals interested in statistics and research, R is the must-know tool. Remember, in research, they are concerned with inferences, and they mostly use R for the inferences. For example, at SEMA, for those you guys that know SEMA, Center for Epidemiology and Mathematical Modeling, for you to be their research fellow, you have to be proficient in R. So what does that tell you? So to be well positioned in the market, you have to have the requisite skills that are needed, in this case, the programming languages. We also have SQL, which we are going to tackle. But before then, SQL is a pertinent tool that we need to know. Why is it so important? Remember that now that data sets are now stored in databases. Many companies are keeping their data sets in cloud and also on premises. So for you to be able to interact with those data sets, you need to have a good command in SQL. Another language, programming language that you ought to know is Julia. There are professionals now that are specializing in using Julia. So if you're interested in learning it, you are free to go and explore it. And on the next, after the programming languages, we'll go to the next. Apart from now having the good command in programming languages, what else should you know as a data professional? You need to have relevant skills or know-how in Power BI or Tableau. Are shiny for those deep into R. You can also learn Apache Superset and also Python also has libraries that are also good in visualizations, such as matplotlib and seaborn. So why should you learn visualizations? As they say, a picture is worth 1,000 words. So remember, like the HR does not know like what is going on as you analyze your data. But when you present the output and the findings in form of visualizations, it makes it for them to be able to pinpoint where they need to improve as an organization, and that is what makes it to have good skills in data visualizations. And as Lovik had said, there is a trend in AI. Now, apart from knowing data visualizations, you as a data scientist or a data engineer or machine learning engineer, you ought to have good command in machine learning and AI. So in this case, machine learning and AI, they all stand for machine learning and deep learning. That is AI in general. For you to be good in machine learning also, you will have to know either of the following, either TensorFlow or PyTorch. And also for you to be able to deploy your models, you also have to have good command of ML flow, and then for Hugging Face. For guys that have interacted with Hugging Face, this is a platform where you can find already pre-trained models. So as you are doing your learning as a data professional and you're interested in making models, remember always to deploy your models at Hugging Face. That presents an opportunity for individuals to test your models and give feedback on where you need to improve. Now, on the next one, you also need to have skills on big data tools. These are Apache Superset, Airflow, and Docker. And then finally, you also have to have good command in cloud platforms such as AWS, GCP, and Azure. And finally, you as a data professional, for individuals to interact with your work, what you have done, either be it analysis or model building, you need to know GitHub and Git as your version controls. Finally, for guys that are into machine learning and model building, remember you have tools online that you can use and prevent using your local machine resources. So in this case, you can use Jupyter Notebooks, Google Colab, and DeepNote. So that is on data science and analytics. So any question before we proceed? I see some chats here. Okay. So I'm not going to deep dive on analytics, on the statistics of the trends, because Ludwig had tackled it. But as you can see, just a quick overview, there is a trend in those tools that I have mentioned. Where are they increasing? Because also data is also growing and more companies are adopting data. So we ought to have the requisite skills in the market. So up to that point, I would like to give you a takeaway. You as a data individual, please remember to have these skills: Python, SQL, R, and data visualizations tools. Having those tools will increase your chance on the market, as the market also is demanding highly on data. So I would like to proceed now to the session, to the main part of our session, which was SQL. So if you have a question, please, you can type it on the chat. Ludwig will look on it and then let me know. So let me share my other screen. Can you see my screen on your side? I'm not sharing anything. Hello, please let me know if you can see anything on your screen.
No,
Okay.
we are not sharing your screen.
Right. Okay. Yes, how about now?
Yes.
Yes, can you see it? All right.
Yes,
Thank
we
you.
can see it.
So, before we deep dive onto SQL, I would like to give an overview of a database. So, a database is an organized collection of data that is stored to allow quick access electronically. So, for us to be able to access this data, we need to have database management systems. So this database management system, they are divided into two. The relational database management systems, where the data is stored in table format, and also in relational database management systems, which does not support SQL. So for our case, we are going to focus on relational database management systems. In this case, the relational database management system encompasses MySQL, Postgres, MS SQL Server, that is Microsoft SQL Server, Oracle, and SQLite. So for us to be able to interact with these databases, we need to have good command in SQL. So allow me now to deep dive into SQL. So in these slides, I'm going to take you briefly on an overview of SQL before we begin our project, our practical aspect of it. So what is SQL in this case? So SQL is a structured query language that is used for manipulating data stored in a database. So as we have said, we are going to focus on relational database management systems because they are the ones that support SQL. And most of the data that is stored on this RDMS has some relational entities. So as I mentioned, we have MySQL, Oracle, MS SQL Server, Postgres, and so on. So for us to be able to interact with this, we need to have good command in SQL. So a few things about SQL. SQL is a structured language. It's not case sensitive. So whether you write your commands in lowercase or in uppercase, provided that the syntax is correct, you will get an output from your script. So let me go to the next slide. So what are the advantages of SQL as a language or as a structured query language that is used for manipulating data that is stored in a database? So first of all, using SQL enhances speed. Also, SQL has well-defined standards. This ensures data integrity and consistency in database. Also, SQL ensures portability. It is also an interactive language. As you use it, remember we learn by doing. So as you use it, the output that you get, either it has some errors, you'll be able to learn and then improve on your script that you had written in SQL. So SQL has some parts that you're going to check on. So SQL has that data types that it supports. So it can support numeric, strings, that is text, and then and date. So under numeric, it can either be a float, an int, or a binary type. So under string, we have the character which we call char, that stores a fixed line of character of bytes. And also we have varchar, which refers to variable character. So as we all know, a character contains 1 byte. So for you to, if your columns are supporting variable sizes of the data type, so you'll have to include a variable data type that is going to support it. You also have data type date. So in this case, we have date, time, and also date time as a data type. So now, so for us to be able to use this, we have commands that we ought to know. Now, this is one of the most important part of SQL that we need to focus on. So these are sub languages under SQL, or commands in SQL, that helps us manipulate data easily that is stored in a database. So we have DDL. DDL stands for data definition language. So commands under DDL, as you can see from my slide, we have create, drop, alter, and truncate. So for you as a database user, either you are a DBA or either you are the database administrator, this is the most part of a database administrator if you want to venture into that role. So you as a DBA, you need to know to structure the schema of your database. So what do you mean by the schema? When you have to define how you want the data to be stored in your database. So for this case, you need to know how to create database, how to drop, how to alter some columns if you need to make some changes, or how to truncate some rows of records in your database. The next one is DML. So DML stands for data manipulation language. So for you to be able to manipulate the data that is stored in a database, you usually use these 3 commands, which are insert, update, and delete. On the other command is DCL. DCL stands for data control language. So these commands are usually used by DBS because they are the ones that will grant you rights to access certain database or certain tables in a database. They are able to revoke those rights they have given you, and they can also deny you the rights to access particular databases under the central database that we had created. We also have TCL. TCL stands for transaction control language. So also this one is mostly used by DBS and also by data scientists and developers. So for the changes that you make or the script that you write, if you want them to be permanently stored in the database, you commit, you can either commit them, so that means you push them to go to the repository or to make a change in the database. You can also roll back. If there is any error that have brought up because of commit that when you admit, you can always roll back. And then we have DQL, which stands for Data Query Language. So this is the most used command by the end users, which are us, which are data analysts, data scientists, all those. We usually use DQL so much. So DQL is for retrieving data from data. So in this case, the most command is select. So those are types of commands that you want to know if you want to be good in SQL. The other thing you need to know on SQL. So apart from knowing now after commands now, the other thing that you need to know are the operators. Remember when you're manipulating the data, you will encounter various conditions that have to be met. Now, for you to be able to execute your script very well, you need to have a good command in SQL operators. So SQL operators, these things are phonetic operators, that is addition, multiplication, division, all that. You also need to have comparison operators. Comparison like greater than, less than, all those default there. And you also need to know logical operators, which are and, or, all those. So I'm moving very fast. I'm not going to discuss each of those operators at a time. So the other thing you need to know, you need to learn is views. Now you have created your database. You have included the necessary operators. Now what do you need to do next is to create views. Remember, you as a DBA, you will have huge or many tables stored centrally in a certain database. So this one may cause redundancy if you don't create the views. Views makes your work easier by improving the performance of your database. So all this we'll be offering on the SQL course and under the data grid. So for now, it's just an overview. The next one is index. Index also improves performance. The next one you need to learn about is clauses. So you need to know various types of clauses in SQL, which are group by, having, order by, and where to use them and when to use them. After that, you also need to learn aggregation functions, which are count. These are mathematical or statistical functions, or functions that can give you statistical summary of the data set that you are working with. Apart from that, you also need to learn on window functions, joins, and all that. So since it encompasses a lot, we are not able to dive into each specific subset of SQL, but that is generally the structure of SQL. Now, up to that point now, I want to go to the project now. I hope everyone is okay with the overview of SQL, what it contains, different operators, how to create what you need to do, all that. So anyone with question on SQL overview, these were just basics and just an overview. So nothing deep was explained there. So now I have a question for you guys. Do you have how many of you have MySQL running on their machines so that I can share the data sets with you? So that as I do the project on my side, you can also run it on your side. Do you guys have the MySQL? I'm going to use MySQL as a database for this project. So do you guys have it? Please, if any one of you has it, you can let me know to share the data set with you. Okay, that one has it.
Yeah, if you have it,
I do.
yeah, if you have it, can you just type in or just unmute so that we share the data set with you? I can see Bunny has it. Billy says he doesn't. Somebody also mentioned he does. Joseph has it as well. Stephen does.
Okay. Teams have good
Okay,
number.
just drop.
Let me share it on WhatsApp. The weeks then you will share with them. Share it.
Yeah, you can drop it on the WhatsApp group or even on the. Is it possible they have it here? But on the WhatsApp group, I think it's okay. I hope everybody is there.
WhatsApp group, eh? Okay.
Yeah. And guys, if you haven't joined our community, I've dropped the link on the chat. Feel free to join. I think, let me just recopy it and reshare. I've just retyped the group chat link, the WhatsApp community link. Just click on it if you haven't joined so that you can get access to the dataset, so that we move with time.
Yeah, true. I'm trying to check them. Okay, let me share. Let me continue as I look for the specific data sets that are specific for this project.
Okay.
Mhm. Okay, so I'm going to begin with this data set here. So I'm going to share. So I'm using Oracle SQL Developer as my SQL client or database client. So I'm going to use that one. So I hope it will be okay with you. So, okay, let me share screen on that part. So is it visible on your side? Or still not
Yeah, we can see your screen.
Okay. So this is Oracle SQL Developer that we are always use for MySQL projects. So there are other tools for the clients that you can use. You can also use Workbench, MySQL Workbench. You can use DBRiver. So there are so many of them that you can utilize for this. They always give you the same output. So it's just a matter of preference. For my case, I prefer using this one. So I have several databases. So I'm going to begin. So for me to see the database that I have, I always run some commands. So for you to see the database that you have, this one is okay. For you to see the database that you have already, that you already have, you use show command. So for this one, it has listed me the database that I have on my SQL. So in this case, you use the specific database that I want to use. So for my case, I had created a database by the name retail. So for me to now seed into that database that I had created, do this. You say use. Or you guys, do you want me to show you how to create a single database before I proceed? Maybe I've gone very fast. So for me to use this one, I use this one. I run this command, use. Now I'm into that data. I'm into that database. Now I want to see the tables that are there. So I also use the show command again, then show what? Show tables. So when you run show tables, you can see in my retail database, I have two tables. Yeah, this products and sales. Okay. Now, after identifying the tables that I have, you is the data analyst or data science. Now you check, are those the only tables that I am required to have for the particular task that you are given or you are assigned to? If not, you are at liberty to create the missing tables that will be able to enhance your data analysis. So for my case, I'm okay with two tables for this project. So now you have been contracted by an US company. So I'm going now to give a question. You have been contracted by an US company, and they have taken as their data scientist. And the first role that they have given you involves using SQL or SQL. So they are giving you two CSVs. The data sets are saved in CSVs. And then you have been granted rights by the DBA to create the tables and populate them. Now I have done the first two. I have created the database, created the tables, and populated my tables. Now I have the following question. The first question they ask you. They want to see. Now before we get to that, let me show what is contained in my tables. So I want to see what are the contents or the components of my tables. So you say select everything from what table cells. Then because it is too big, I want to limit to 5 observations only or 5 records. So you limit. So you can see my sales table has the following columns: cell ID, sale date, region, product, quantity, and revenue. So this sales CSV or this sales data set, direct what particular sale was made, the date, where was it made, in what region, the product that was sold, the quantity that was sold, and the revenue that was generated from the sale of those products. Now, for us to check the second table, what is in our second table? So we run the same command, but now we are using our second table, which is products. So we say limit. So for you to run your SQL script, you need to use semicolon as your delimiters. So the semicolons They are the predefined. They are the predefined operators that ends a command or ends a script in SQL or SQL. So for me, I want to see what is contained in my product. Oh, sorry. What was the name of my? Oh, sorry. So I wrote this command wrongly. So it should be from products. So I want to check again. So what am I limiting? I'm limiting it for 5 observations. So this is what you get when you run your commands. So those are our 2 tables. Now the table for products has the product ID, the product that was sold. Remember, we have 2 tables: sales and the product and the product table. So this contains the product ID, the product name, and the category of that product. What product was sold and where does it fall, on what category does it fall on. So the next one, now having known that, now we want to explore our questions. So the first question we want to know, so which product categories, generated most revenue in each region. So that is the first question, that is the first thing that you have been tasked to do. So after now reading that question, you need to dive on it to know what does it exactly need and how can you get it from MySQL. So this question needs you to calculate the total revenue for each product category per region. And what are you going to use in this case? You will use join. You will also use aggregate function, in this case sum. You will also use SQL clauses, in this case group by and order by. Now let's now run or provide the solution to this question. So we are going to select. So if my screen is very low, you can let me know. Maybe move it down. So we are going to select region. I'm going to dive into S. S in this case represents my sales table. So I want to get on region. What else do I want to get? I want also to go to table, which table? Products table. Then I say P, then category. Into product table, then go to category column. Then after that, I want to get sum. So I think this one. Want to get sum of what? I go to sales revenue, because revenue columns is found in the sales revenue column. Is what? Is total revenue. So that one is going to sum up the revenue for each region and by product. Then go to now from what? From sales. You can either put it here. From sales is CS. Join. So join what? Products table. You can also be checking when you are writing codes, you can make mistakes. Product table is D. One. On S dots. S is our sales table. We want to get to the column of the product ID, because that is the unique identifier in this case. Then should be equal to products dot product ID again. So for you to join two tables, they need to share a column. So in this case, they are sharing product column. So here we put it 3. So the other one, then we need, now we are going to use our SQL clauses, in this case, group by. Then we are going to group by what? We are going to group by region. Here's the region. And also by category of which products. Then we order by. We want to order our results. By what? We are ordering by total revenue. So that you can now see which regions and what products are doing well in those areas. So by revenue column, by what? Descending. So we want to get the highest to be the first one. So to see if our points are well aligned to avoid some errors. So is my screen still sharing? I think I've just dropped here. So am I still sharing my screen?
Yeah, it's still visible.
Oh, okay, thank you. So this is our command for this question. So the logic of it is okay. So what happens in these cases, you can always make mistakes in now the syntax. Let's see, let it remain with you and to see where we are going to get the error. So you see in this case, there is what? Something near S. So because my logic is okay, and because of time, I don't want to waste time on this. So I want to align it better, then run it together. Yes, now okay. So now that is okay. Now this script now was able to solve our first question, which was saying which product categories generated most revenue in each region. So they want to know. So they want to know which products are doing well and in what particular region are those products doing well. So in this case, you find in Texas, the books are doing well. The books are being bought. There is high sales in books. Also, clothing is doing well. So generally, Texas as a region is bringing a lot of revenue to the company. So the company is now going to be interested on how the marginal revenue is going to be generated. In this case, you will get them and to inform them that Texas, from the results, we can see that books are consistent sell across all region. As you can see from our results here, we have so many books. So that means books, we are top sellers across all region. So for you, what advice or what recommendation you give them as their data analyst? You can inform them or persuade them to increase promotional campaigns, offer some discounts in order to increase the average order values. And also you can also advise them to ensure consistent and increased inventory for books across all this region. Because as from our data, you can see books are doing well. So you can advise the company to increase more inventories for books and also provide some discounts. This will also motivate customers and attract more customers. So with more customers means more sales. And with more sales means more revenue generation. Now, after getting that, there is a second question that they asking you. Now, we have known the performance of each product and with respect to the revenue. The question they want you also to go to the next one. What is the overall revenue distribution across different regions? So yes, you have known, we have obtained, or we have been able to identify the most generating products and their region. So we want to know now, what is the overall revenue distribution across these regions? How, when you compare the regions, how do they fare? So for you to do that, what do you need to know? So in this case, you need to get the total revenue for each region. Remember, we are comparing the overall distribution. So you are going to get the total revenue for each region. And how will you get that? You're going to get the sum. That is, you're going to calculate the total revenue for each region using the sum as your aggregate function. Then you apply the SQL clauses that they said they're so much important when you're doing analysis. So you're going to apply both group by and order by. So let's solve that question and see what recommendations we can provide to them. So we are going to, this is the question. What is the overall distribution of revenue across regions? So now, so let's solve this question. Right, so you're going to begin, we said select which falls under DQL, data query language. It's one of the most used command. So you're going to select, you're selecting what? You're selecting region. We are going to dive into sales table. Select region, which is a column find under that table. Then apply our aggregate function, which is sum, because we need to get sum. We are summing what? We are summing the revenue across the sales table. S, and you are naming it as total revenue. Now, after summing the revenue for each region, want to also get from, then sales SS. We group our results by, what are we grouping it by? We're going to group by region. So region is found under sales table. So that's why we are diving into sales table. After grouping by region to calculate the total region, the total revenue, now we need to order by. Now we need to order our results. So what are we ordering by? We are ordering by the total revenue. Remember, we are checking the total revenue. And then we need our results to appear in descending order. So we apply deck. So let's see what is going to give us. So when you run your command, you can see from this one, from our script, We have 4 regions: Texas, California, Michigan, and Chicago. So from our results here, we can see that Texas has highest revenue as compared to other regions. Actually, it has almost half, more than half of the second region is California.
Unasema usiku.
So
Tumesema usiku.
what are
Unasema,
you? So what do you get, or what insights can you derive from these results? So you can inform the company that Texas is the top performing region by far. It's actually doubling the second one. Then, so you can also advise the company now to investigate what are they doing right in Texas that is generating more revenue that they are not doing well in other regions. As you can see here, Michigan and Chicago are not, they are like less than even half of what Texas is producing. So what does that tell you? You need to analyze what is working well in Texas, whether is it popular products, is it the marketing channels or the marketing strategies that the company is using or enforcing in Texas that is generating more revenue than in other regions? Is it the market share of the products that they are using, or why is it that Texas is doing well while other regions are not performing well? So you can also recommend that the company can also have localized campaigns to leverage California's trend serving customers, or include premium products lines. So you can also encourage them to have regional partnerships in those 3 regions that are not performing as expected. Yeah, and also you can also recommend to them to have promotions to drive first-time purchases. So this is going to increase the purchasing power of the customers or consumers. And what that means, when the consumers increase their purchasing power, the company is going to have high returns. So we go to the next question. We have like 4 questions that we are solving. So we go to the next question. So which regions have below average revenue?
Ni like kwa jamaa. Amenifika mwisho.
So which regions have below average? So which regions have below average revenue? So yes, we have investigated the total revenue per region. We have also checked the revenue per product and per region. Now the company is interested in knowing regions that have below average revenue. So for us to solve this, we need this query identifies regions with values less than the average. And for us to do it now, we need to employ this script. Now let us write now a script or solution to that question. They need regions that have below average. So that tells us we need to get the average, and then we are going to compare the region's revenue against the average revenue. So the regions that you will find they fall below the average revenue, then that is what we expect our script to produce as the output. Now let's now solve this question. Now the first thing we say select. So select is a very hand command. So select. So we are selecting. We are diving into what into sales table, then going to regions command. Then we need to sum. What are we summing? The revenue column. The revenue column is found under sales table, so that's why we are using S. Remember here I said my sales table is represented by, or I'm aliasing it. So S here stands for an alias. I'm aliasing it as a S. So I'm going to dive into sales table, in this case S. Navigate to the revenue column, and then want to get it S. After getting the sum of the revenue column, I will label it as what? Total revenue. Now that will give me my revenue, the sum of the revenue for each region. Now I move again, I go to, now I want to, from sales table, which is S, aliased by S. Then we group by. We are grouping by region. So we say S region. Now we move next to the next one. Now we have calculated, remember here, we have selected the sales table, navigated to the regions column. Then we are getting the sum of revenue column and naming it or labeling it as total revenue. From where are we getting that? From sales. Then group by region. Then we need to have another clause, which is having. Remember, we need to compare, it has to be below the average. So that's why we are including having clause. So having what? Having sum which we having sum, and somewhere was what? Was the total or the summations of the revenue column is no having revenue. No, we are not going to get as less. So need to check. It has to be less than. So to be less than. Now in this case, I want to check. It has to be less than the average. The revenue has to be less than average. So now you have to filter regions with revenue less than average. So how do you achieve that? There are two ways you can achieve that solution. You can use CTEs, so that is common table expressions, or you can use subqueries, correlated subqueries. So in this case, I'm going to use subqueries. So I have selected revenue column. Then I want to select now average. Average of what? Total sum. Remember, we got the total, then we labeled it the total revenue. Then that subquery is now going to calculate the average total revenue. Then from where are we getting this one from? Remember, we are getting this one from our sales table. From sales, which we labeled as S. We gave it an alias name as S. Now we group by. We are grouping now by in our subquery. Remember, it will be executed before the outer query. So we are grouping by what? We are grouping by region. We need to group by region so that we see regions that have less income or less revenue than the average revenue. So we are grouping by region. Then we close our subquery. Well, we close the outer one again. So how many brackets are these? Let me know. Let me sure I'm not getting it. 1, 2, 1, 2. That's okay. So these are 2. Now, after getting the results of our inner query, we order by. We're ordering by what? The total revenue in ascending order. We want to see that has less revenue than the average revenue. So let's see if our script is running well. So this one needs you to have good problem solving skills to be able to see what you need and to identify how to get the solution of a particular question. So let me see if my syntax is correct. So ascending line number 16. Yes, I was to order by. What is it not having? Let me see it again. So anyone who can identify where that issue is coming from? That is the beauty thing of doing it live. Yes. Before I correct it, who can identify where the issue is coming from? Now we are being taught by the SQL syntax. So the logic is okay, but we have an issue on the syntax. We are being told ascending order now, line number 16. So what is the issue with line number 16? Anyone? Hey, let's make the class interactive. So why is line number 16 not working? Let me see on the chat. What are people saying? It? Okay, so why is line number 16 not working? Yes, I have the solution, yes, but I want to see. Are you guys able to identify why you make mistakes in SQL? For those who maybe are conversant with the language. So where is line number 16? All other lines are okay. Where is line number 16 not working? Anyone? No. Guys are not talking here. Hey guys, why is line number 16 not working? Yes? So our syntax, we are going to check again our syntax from select. We are diving into sales table, select region column, get the sum of the revenue in sales table, and label it is total revenue. Then we are getting that information from sales table, which we have analyzed as S. Then we group by region. So region is under sales table. So having, now here is our subquery. Having the sum of the revenue column under the sales table less than the average of the total revenue. So we are selecting revenue as the total revenue, sales is the region totals. Let me now see if this one is going to work. So yes, that has worked. Now, from here we can see that these three of the regions have their revenues below the average revenue. So that means as a company, yes, it is doing well under Texas region, but under the other three regions, it is not performing well. So if you are doing like competitor analysis, you'll have now to get into research, like you'll have to analyze the market of your competitors. see what they are doing or how they are faring under those three regions that have income below the average revenue. Then if you find that your competitors have higher revenues in those regions, you as a company, you will have to re-strategize again and come up with new strategies that are going to improve your marketing strategy in those three regions. And in that way, you'll have increased revenue generation. So what would you say from this one? You'd say that Chicago, see, yes, we have ordered our results by ascending order. So the lowest is above. So Chicago is performing poorly, or is the weakest of all the regions. So you need to conduct, so you'll advise the company to conduct market analysis and also check on competitor analysis. So it has to check what is causing low performance. Is it low awareness of the products that they are selling in those three regions? Is it the limited or insufficient supply of the products in those regions? Is it high competitions? Are your competitors doing well than you in those three regions? So you'll advise the company now to check on those three areas. You'll also advise them, after conducting market analysis, it also should consider localized marketing in those three regions. Remember, the goal of any business is to make profits. And for profit to be achieved, we need to have high sales or high purchases. So you'll advise the company to focus on localized marketing, offer discounts on their products, or increase their marketing campaigns. Again, you'll also inform the company to have some feedback tools. Let them engage their customers and see where are they having low purchasing power in those three regions. The feedback that they will get from their customers or their consumers, it will enable them make informed decisions on the marketing strategy they are supposed to use. Yes, Patience has raised it. And yes, please go ahead.
I have a question.
Yes.
What was the issue with the order by? Was it an syntax error?
Yes. No, I had not. Yes, it was an syntax error. This spacing here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just spacing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So so again, you will also advise your company. And now after telling it to conduct market analysis, also check on the competitor analysis and also have localized marketing, offering discounts. You'll also tell them to run some A/B tests on their products or offers to see if it will be able to boost their consumer morale towards their products. Now we have the last question. We are still on time. We have some 5 minutes and solve at least one question. So we have our last question. Now that we have seen areas that are performing poorly and we have given them those recommendations, now they want to check, how do seasonal trends impact revenue per product category in different regions? We want to check, are there some products or some commodities that sell well at a particular region and at a particular time? So let us see how we can. So how do seasonal? So the question was, how do seasonal trends impact revenue per product category? They want to know the revenue per product category. in different regions. So they want to check on seasonality. So for those love R now, this is now your part now. You employ R in this case. You use time series analysis. You can also use Python to counter check your results that you'll have obtained through SQL. You can use also Markov chain where they are the transient times. So you can also check on that and compare your results to see if the results that you'll have obtained in SQL, if it is accurate. Now, so this question, we need to now look at it. What does it require from us? What do I need to do as the data scientist to solve this task that I've been assigned? And now I'm on question 4. So we want to check this. We need to come up with a script or a query that will aggregate revenue per product category over time period. We can choose quarterly. So for example, like banks, they do their competitor analysis quarterly. So they see in the first quarter they did this, they were at this is what their asset base. This is the creditors that they have. This is the number of customers that they are doing transaction with them. This is the revenue they have been able to generate. So they check it quarterly. So for example, if maybe quarter 1 performed well than quarter 2. So I'll give a case scenario that I did at KCB. So we were to analyze KCB Bank's asset base, their customers, and the revenue generation with regard or with respect to their competitors. So we are doing it quarterly. So you can find that in quarter 1, the bank made huge income, or it was able to generate higher income as compared to quarter 2. So from there, you need to check what has happened in the second quarter that did not happen in the first quarter. In such a case, you can dive down and check, are your customers banking with other banks? Are your products tailored, or do they have discounts? For example, we are able to find in that project, we are able to find that yes, KCB as a bank has its customers, but the same customers that are in KCB, they're also in other banks. So they are doing more transactions with other banks and lesser transactions with KCB. So what does that tell you? So you as a bank, in that case, so those are the recommendations that we made. You as the bank have targeted marketing and promotions towards these customers. Enlighten your customers about the services you're offering. Inform them that the services that they are getting in other banks, they can also get them with you. So when that income is aggregated, you will improve your asset base and improve or increase the income generated. Now, let's solve this question now to see the aggregations and the trends and the seasonal trends in this task. So we are going to employ our first command, which is said is select. So what are we selecting? We want to check per region. So we are selecting region, which is under, we are selecting a region, which is under sales table. So region is a column under sales table. So we are also selecting category and a product table. In this case, I'm aliasing it as P.
Yeah, hi Enoch, are we completing?
Yes, this is the last one. This is the last one.
Okay.
Yes. So we are diving into product table. Then we move to the category column. Then we go to here. We want to check this seasonality now. we check our year. So here I want to check on sales table. There was sell date where when the product was sold. I want to get it as sell year. Sell year. What's the spelling? Yes, sell year. Then after getting the sell year, we get now quarter. We want to get our results quarterly, so that we can now inform the company on which quarter they were doing well. So for us to get quarter, we seed into sales table, and then select sell date column as sell quarter. Then we get our sum. We are summing what? We are summing the revenue. The revenue is in sales table. So as what? We are summing as total revenue. We want to get total revenue from our revenue column. Then from sales, which we are aliasing as S, and then we need to join this table. We join table products table. So this will cause a syntax error. Products table SP, aliased SP on. So we want to join them on columns that are similar. So under sales table, we have product ID column. Then we have under product table, we also have product ID. So we are going to join those tables under that column, which is column ID, which they are sharing. Then after joining, we need to group our results. We group by. So what do we want to group by? We want to group by region. So region is under sales table. So we say region, group by region. P, we see to P table, products table, we go to category column. Also check on sell year. So this one is going to cause an error here. So I have seen this one. So sell year, they are the same now. That's okay. Then the sales, check on sale quarter. So that we have grouped by region, category, year, and quarter. So wherever you see I've made a mistake, please let me know. Because it is going to give us an error if we don't identify it earlier. So order by, we need to order our results now. By, now we need to order by sell here. So sell here, we gave it a capital uppercase. Sell here, sell quarter, total revenue. So I think it's going to be an error again. Total revenue. So we're ordering by this total revenue. So then in descending order. So we want our results, the one that have higher to order by that. So we see we have any syntax error in our logic. Yes. Of course, I need those spacing. Okay. Right, now we are able now. This is the last output as we finish. We have now answered the task that we want to check on, the last question, which is we are checking the trend. So how do seasonal trend impact revenue per product category in different years, in different regions? So we have region, category of that product, sale year, quarterly, and then total revenue. So you can see in this, like in 2011, Q1, that is the first 3 months, what was the total revenue under what region? Like this one, for example, the first quarter of 2011, bags were doing well in Chicago, and also clothes were doing well also in Chicago. Chicago also had higher revenue also in the first quarter. So as you move down, there are so many of them. So as you move down, also check in the second quarter, Texas did very well under clothing. It also did well under books, footwear, electronics, and bags. So in second quarter, Texas performed very well under all product categories. So again, you can also, in 2013, California had higher sales in electronics. Michigan also had higher sales in clothing under the second quarter. So you move that way. So this is what you are going to inform the management team or the company. So on which quarter is each region selling better on what products? So I think we are going to finish at that point. And welcome the questions. Maybe if you have any question, as I hand over the program to Levix. Any question or any clarification someone may want to seek?
Hello, Enoch. I'm sorry, I just realized that I did not mute, but I have a
It's okay.
question and also a concern on the same.
Uh-huh.
So I actually happened to have joined the meeting a little bit late. I was in another meeting, but then
Uh-huh.
this probably something you agreed on when you were starting off. So had you probably agreed on how you, probably where you'll be sharing this recording, because I'm sure it's being recorded. And secondly, what are the plans for the subsequent such activities? Are there plans set sort of to have such kind of activities, or this is the first and the end probably? I thank you.
Welcome. So that one is not noted. Levix will answer that one. Okay, any other question? Please, we have any question, let us have all the questions bundled together, then Levix will handle them. That concerns this project, I will be able to answer. Any other question? Okay, so seems there is no other question. Please allow me to hand over the session to Levix. Levix, please, the platform is yours.
Okay, thanks, Enoch, for that session on SQL and an overview on data science and analytics. That was very informative. So we just have one question. I know we have a lot of questions that were asked the other time on while guys were registering for this program. So maybe I'll just start with what has been asked here a minute ago. So we do have these sessions, like a couple of them weekly. We normally have these master classes where we are able to showcase some of the solutions, some of the softwares that we handle within our programs. So like we've had a couple today, we were handling SQL as a very important tool in data science, in data analysis. Ideally, any data scientist or data analyst must know how to use SQL to manipulate data, to perform their roles, to do 1, 2, 3 within the databases, to do analysis here and there, to do a bit of reporting here and there. So it's a very important tool, and that's why we thought it wise to have a session today on SQL. So we'll have this. It doesn't have to be SQL, but we have this weekly. Even next week, you're going to have something else. I think it will not be on SQL, but you'll have something else either on Excel, either on Power BI or Python or Tableau. All those are particular areas within our courses that we can be able to focus on within this timeline. So maybe I hope that answers the question by that was Onyango someone. Do I remember the name? Omondi. I hope that answers your question well. The
Yes.
second question.
Yes, that answers the second question. Maybe back to the first question now. I thank you.
Yeah, the first question was about recording. Yeah, this recording will be shared. because the session was being recorded, so you'll have access to it. Will be shared on the group. I'm not sure if you are available on the group. The WhatsApp
Yes, I
group.
am. Yes, I am.
Okay, then you'll get access to it. We'll drop the link as soon as possible. As soon as possible, we'll have the link dropped there. Do you have any other question on the platform before I jump onto the quick questions that were there?
Yes, I also have another question.
Okay.
So I want to confirm, is WhatsApp the only platform for communication, or because probably you'll be archiving this recording somewhere, have you thought of having a Google Classroom from where you could be sharing also problems or recordings where people could access them anytime and probably do sort of work on the problem that you'll be sharing? I prefer Google Classroom as the best platform. What do you think about that?
Okay, thanks for that question. Ideally, let me just share some slides here. We have full programs. You see, like a masterclass, like what we had today with Enoch is 2 hours. Ideally, you cannot be able to learn SQL, for instance. You cannot become a data scientist or data analyst within 2 hours. So today is just to highlight, I don't know if you can be able to see my screen. Are you able to see my screen now?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm saying that a masterclass ideally cannot be able to make you proficient with, for example, SQL. SQL is another very important database language with a lot of areas to be handled. So like what we did today was just an overview, just to look at some of the key areas in it, how we can use it to manage databases, how we can use it to manage manipulate data, perform analysis here and there, and a few other things as shown by Enoch. So we're not able to cover everything within such a short time. So we have full programs for data science, we have full programs for data analysis, we have full programs for data engineering, we've got full programs for cybersecurity, those that want to be cybersecurity professionals, and we have those which are already running. And we have also intakes coming up in June. So I'm trying to follow this. So if anybody wishes to get deeper into this particular subject, you're free to do so. For instance, if you can still see my screen, we have there data science and analytics. So this program, the way it is designed, is that it gives you a very good grasp of data analysis. And just as Enoch said, data analysis is sort of a branch of data science. Data science is like the larger umbrella, which is very broad and has a lot of details in it. So, and it is also much more complex. There are stuff like machine learning, there's stuff like AI into it, there's stuff like some deep mathematics, deep statistics in there. So it's quite complex in its own way. That's why we designed our data analytics program to be able to transition you from data analysis into data science for that person who wants to be a data scientist. But again, with that program, you are going to be able to become an efficient, a fully fledged data analyst if you enroll for our program. And you can also become a fully fledged data scientist if you enroll for this second poster you can see on the screen. Then you can also enroll for the data engineering. Depending on where your interests are, you can be able to, join up our program. So we have full programs. The data science and analytics goes for 5 months. There are groups which are going on now, but we have an intake also for June, starting in June. Classes starting in June, so that means the intake is currently going on. Registrations, that is. That is costing only 25,000 for the whole program. Payable per month, that means you pay 6,250 for the month in 4 installments. That is data science analytics, and you can see the components of that course. It's very broad, very extensive compared to what you might find in other areas in the market. It covers Python, it covers Excel, it covers Power BI, it covers SQL that we've covered today. It has Tableau also as part of the BI tools. So Tableau and Power BI are basically BI tools. SQL is a database language and also a bit of programming into it. And then Python is also another very powerful programming language. Then Excel is a very good spreadsheet that's used in many organizations and even in many schools. So a very extensive program as well, 5 months, 25,000, 6,250 per month. Then data science is also there. You can see 55,000 for the entire program lasting 7 months. Payable per month is around 9,000. Data engineering is there also for those who want to become data engineers. Some people call them data plumbers, also there for 55,000, also around 9,000 per month. And if you don't want to go through the whole process, you can also choose, you want to learn maybe just SQL in details. We have a program, SQL, there's one that is starting in May. There are ongoing ones, but there's another one starting in May next month. So you could just enroll also to get the full grasp of our SQL curriculum. As you can see, it's only 8,500. And it lasts 6 weeks. It's quite affordable if we think of it. And there's also, there's Power BI also as a BI tool, also going for 8,500. There's Python there. So these are cases where somebody just wants to learn an individual software. You maybe don't want to learn the whole stack. You just want to focus on SQL. You want to focus on Python. You want to focus on Power BI. You want to focus on Excel. It is all 8,500 per software only. But if you get it as a suite, get the whole program, the full cost is there, and usually it's much more, much more affordable, as you can see in the figures. We also offer cybersecurity programs going for 60K, which is about 12K a month, payable in around 5-6 installments. And as you can see, our programs are running. There are those that run in the day, there are those that run in the evening. For those that are working, you can have your time from 7 p.m. or from 8 p.m. to 10. Those that have time in the day, you can have it from 10 in the morning to around 1 or 2. Yeah, depending on the program you enroll for. So I believe that gives us an overview of the programs we have and how we can be able to, grow each other in terms of skills. Because with things, data and tech, you have to be capable. You have to be hands-on. You should be able to do something. You should be able to solve problems. You should be able to identify problems and be a solution to organizations that you're working with. Yeah. Is there any questions so far? Any
Yes,
question? Anybody? Okay.
Sylvia had asked, is the program only virtual?
Yeah, okay. So most of the programs now are virtual, but then from September, we are going to have, for this index, we're going to have, there are also physical classes, which take place. The physical ones only take place during the day, but the virtual ones can take place in the day and also at night. So whichever one that suits you, if you want to go for the physical ones in the day, you're able to do so. If you want to go for the virtual ones in the evening, that is a part-time class, you also are free to do so. I don't know if that answers the question well. Then I think, Enoch, you responded to the job opportunities for data scientists. I don't know if you remember if you did, but I remember that is one question that was there. Both opportunities are there. And, as Enoch said, organizations have realized they have huge data sets. They have information here and there, but then they don't know how to leverage that data that they have to be able to advance their businesses or their brands. So that is why organizations, if you've seen over the last 2-3 years, there's been a spike in the number of advertisements coming up for data scientists, data analysts, cybersecurity professionals. It's because they've realized that there's a gap in there. They're not making use of their data. People nowadays are not just making decisions out of intuitions or thoughts. You have to be able to analyze your data. You have to be able to understand what you have. You have to be able to do competitor analysis. You have to analyze your environment and all those areas to be able to stand out. So that's why organizations need professionals that are able to do all these things. That means that you need to be skilled. So that means you need to learn. You need to be trained. And that's why, as DataBuild Africa, we offer these in-depth courses to be able to assist you in that, to be able to position you in a way that you can grab opportunities. And again, our programs we certify you. Once you complete the program successfully, you are certified as a data scientist, as a data analyst, as a BI expert, a cybersecurity professional, and so on. Yeah, so I also dropped our community link on the chat. If you have access and you haven't joined, please feel free to join. And I can also drop our email address in there and our phone number, just in case you have a requirement or you need us to assist in anything. So our phone number is 0792 596600, 0792 596600, or 0783 169 231, 0783 169 231. Those are our two phone numbers. You could use any of them on WhatsApp or on calls. Then our email is info@databridgeafrica.com. info@databridgeafrica.com. I've dropped them on the chats for everyone. And I'd also dropped the group, the community link. So when you join the community, of course, you'll get access to our information. When you have upcoming webinars such as this one, of course, you'll be able to get information. So just make sure you are part of the Databridge Africa community so that you're not left behind in any way. And Nancy is saying, if I'm interested in machine learning and AI only, which packages is good for me? Yeah, so that one you'll go for the data science package, Nancy. It will cover all this ML and AI in depth, and you'll be able to stand out as a professional in this field. So, yeah, another question, is the program only? I think that has been answered. Anybody with a question on the session before you close? I can see we are 8 minutes past 10.
Okay.
Yeah, so Nancy, you can reach out to us on the contacts we've shared. Yeah, go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, okay, I want to respond to this one. Kennedy, I've asked about the data. Yes, I'm going to share the data with you so that you can create a database on your side and implement the same. If you need help, I'll be pleased to share the scripts with you. So no worries about that.
Okay, thanks for that. So I believe you'll drop that on the WhatsApp group. That's why it's important that everybody joins the WhatsApp group and be part of the community. We also have our social media platforms, whether it's on X, whether it's on Facebook, on LinkedIn, what am I forgetting? On Instagram and so on. We also have a YouTube channel for you guys if you want to visit, rather see some of our, initial sessions. You can be able to check out Databridge Africa on YouTube. Check us out also on the other social media platforms to be able to be informed. Otherwise, ensure you have our contacts also at your fingertips. Yeah, I think that brings us to the end, unless there's anybody else who's being left out with a question or an addition. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, so thanks everyone for joining. Thanks for taking part. I know today is Easter Friday, so everybody had at least plan, maybe to rest or to travel or do their stuff, but you spared your time to be here, so we appreciate. As I've said, we have these sessions every week, so even next week, just make sure you have you're part of the community so that you're informed on what is coming up next week. We also have spaces that we normally host on X and so on. So just ensure you have us around you so that you're informed and you're able to get the best programs to upskill. Thanks as well, Enoch, for taking us through the session. We appreciate the time, and I believe you'll drop the data set there. If anybody has a question, please feel free to reach out to us on email or on chat or on calls. Yeah. Otherwise, if there's nothing else, we can wind up. You guys have a nice Easter weekend.